Let's rewind.
It's rewind.
No, not like that! Like this. Back to E3 2014. Remember E3? Behind closed doors, and likely in response to the persistent Wii U has no games narrative of the era, Nintendo took the unusual step of showing off some very work-in-progress projects. One of these, Project Guard, showed off a tower defense concept where players would jump between different camera angles to shoot at and fend off wave after wave of robots. Fast forward to 2016 and the project releases as Star Fox Guard, bundled in with Star Fox Zero at launch and with viewpoint switching still its main mechanic. 12 cameras are set up around the playfield, each with a different view of the action, and you're tasked with taking control of them and going on the offensive against encroaching bots to protect your mining base. There are two categories of bots: Combat Class and Chaos Class. The latter makes the game more challenging by putting up smoke screens, moving or disabling your cameras, and generally getting in the way. The former are the ones that will end the game if even one of them gets to the core of your base, so you'll need to destroy all of them to clear a stage. Missions are spread out across 5 planets, and there's about 100 of them in total, split between regular missions and ones with specific challenges or restrictions, so there's definitely no shortage of content here. As far as the actual tower defense goes, it's okay. Most missions start out fairly slowly, the difficulty ramps up progressively as you go, and things can get fairly frantic by the end. There's a decent amount of variety too. Each planet has multiple stage layouts, bots will start to hold shields, be invisible, ride around on fast rockets, etc., and you get upgrades for your cameras like multi-shot lock-on and slowing down time. However, the core gameplay loop starts to feel stale after just a couple of missions, and it's simply not as captivating as other games in the genre. Plants vs. Zombies or Bloons TD6, for example. There's a level of satisfaction and addiction in those titles that you don't get here. Why? Well, it's some combination of more sluggish pacing, limited customizability, and a lack of in-the-moment upgrades or progression that end up holding it back. Missions are generally very short, and while there are upgrades to unlock as you progress, they don't scratch the same itch as powering up what's already on the playfield as you go along. That said, the game does elevate itself when it layers its own twists atop these just-okay foundations. Bosses require creative use of your viewpoints to find and exploit weak spots before they can disable all your cameras or destroy your base, and these are often the highlight of their respective planets. There's also a level editor of sorts where you can define a set of bots for a stage, as well as the sequence of when, where, and how they'll be attacking. It's pretty fun to mess around with, and as you play through the main game, you unlock more types of bots and higher quantities of them for use in this mode. You used to be able to upload these squad setups for others to play against, and it's easy to see how that constant stream of content a la Super Mario Maker would give the game more appeal and longevity. With the Wii U's online services gone for good, it's more of a footnote feature now, best for playing with on your own terms if you want to create new content for yourself. Now, whether the stage you're playing is the game's or your own, the camera mechanic can be as much of a hindrance as it is a help. Switching views can only be done by tapping on the gamepad screen, meaning you're constantly ping-ponging between the action on the TV and the controller in your hands, and when the action ramps up, that can get clumsy. Funnily enough, not the only Star Fox game on Wii U to have this issue. This means the game is, in some ways, actually easier and more fun as a group activity, with one person manning the gamepad and the others yelling out which camera to switch to.
Oh,
There's,
9.
yeah, number 9's got a...
Bird's working on 5.
Bird on 5.
You can physically move cameras around before and during gameplay, but their default positions are already pretty optimized for coverage, so you likely won't do this much unless you're really struggling with a mission or desperate for some variety. It can actually work against you in some cases. Moving too many of them makes it easier to lose track of where they all are, leaving you frantically searching for the one you need and slowing you down in the process. The cameras rotate pretty lazily, too, and while you can swipe on the gamepad to immediately face a certain direction, the game often mistakes that for you trying to move it. So again, the mechanic can work against you more than with you. This custom placement mechanic would have been fantastic, though, if the squad editor let you change the layout of a level as well. And this is a nitpick maybe, but there's also no aiming reticle most of the time. You know your shots go toward the middle of the screen, so it's not like you're firing blindly, but if we're going to spend all our time shooting, at least give us the option to see where we're shooting, right? I feel like we're forgetting something, right? We haven't talked about how this is a Star Fox game yet, have we? Well, that's because it doesn't have much bearing on anything. Aside from a handful of text-based cutscenes about the mining company that Slippy's uncle owns, and the missions being set on some familiar planets, there's nothing that truly tethers this game to that IP. It's helpful for general immersion, perhaps, but the Star Fox connection never feels essential or even all that prominent. It's not much to look at either, though visuals aren't really the key ingredient here, so this is kind of a flimsy complaint. There's some decent biome diversity across the different planets, but the graphics are really basic and not much catches the eye. The cameras you're not controlling update at really low frame rates too, assumedly for performance reasons, and that can be a little distracting when there's lots happening at once. So what's this game's deal? What would you say you do here? On its face, it feels superfluous, a bit cynical even. Like Nintendo was lacking confidence in Star Fox Zero and trying to bolster its value prop with this to make it feel more worth it. A move that clearly didn't work, as Zero famously flopped critically and commercially. Look a little deeper though, and the story gets more interesting. Star Fox Guard was eventually released by itself on the eShop for $15, and disc copies from the Zero bundle quickly made their way online for even cheaper than that. As one of the few Wii U games that never made it to the Switch, it's not trivial to find today, but if you can get your hands on it for a decent price, it may well be worth a pickup if you vibe with what it's trying to do. Flawed as it is, it still stands as a truly unique experience that only the Wii U could offer. And for the right audience, there's still some value in that. So when you put it all together, Star Fox Guard gets 3 Gloobies out of 5. The camera mechanic is an interesting use of the gamepad, and there's a surprising amount of content on offer, but its unremarkable gameplay and general lack of addictiveness will only get you so far. While tower defense games aren't for everyone, its modest but unique spin on things will be enough for some genre fans to appreciate. Thanks so much for watching. Stay fresh, cheese bags. We'll catch you back here real soon.